your reaction to this, Kevin? But also, would you have said that Pickens was the number one wide receiver on the Steelers before this trade, or was it DK Metcalf? So just all that.
Before the trade, he was definitely the number 2 receiver. You don't bring in a guy like DK Metcalf to be the number 2 guy. And it says a lot. Toddy mentioned it. Mike Tomlin's a guy who takes diamonds and takes diamonds out of the rough. He'll turn you into something. And it just goes to show that, the Chris Claypools, the Antonio Browns, the Deontay Johnsons, and now the George Pickens, they've had their own head cases of wide receivers, and they were able to move off of these guys. And then we saw them kind of fall off. We saw AB go to the Raiders and have his fiasco, ended up on the Jets, had his fiasco, or the Bucs, had his fiasco. And then we saw Deontay Johnson leave the Steelers, and he was on 4 teams last year. Chris Claypool came on, and he was supposed to be this next big thing. I don't think he's in the league anymore. So they had a lot of turnaround in that receiver room. But focusing on George Pickens, he has been a guy who has had 10 fines in his 3 seasons. So to have a guy like Mike Tomlin tell you that we've had enough, I feel awful for Brian Schottenheimer. I know I might have butchered that name, Schottenheimer. I don't know if I said it the right way, but for him to be a first-year coach and you have to deal with this, you hear all the stuff about dealing with Jerry and dealing with Dak and dealing with CD, dealing with Micah, and now you have to add George Pickens to the mix. And like I said, he's a guy who's had 10 suspensions in the first 3 years. He's had his injury problems, and a lot of people will say that he didn't have a quarterback, but you can't really say that because his past 2 quarterbacks in Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are starting quarterbacks in New York. CeeDee Lamb last season had 72 more catches than the number 2 receiver. So I get it. It's nice to say that you get to add depth to that room. But when we saw CeeDee Lamb go down, you saw a guy like Justin Tolbert come up and Ferguson come and show to play. So now you're adding another head to that room. And this head is a guy, if he's not getting catches, he's going to be known. We've seen CD and Dak have that back and forth, but they have the relationship. George Pickens is coming into a room where he's the new guy. So is he going to throw his helmet? Is he going to pound on the sideline? It's going to be a lot for a first-year coach. And Toddy mentioned it. He is a guy coming in who is on the end of his rookie deal, so he needs to get paid. And I don't know if you guys know this, but he has the same agent as Micah. And Jerry Jones came out this summer and said, I don't even know who that is.